Hello, ladies and jelly spoons, children of all ages. Welcome to 24K movies, TV shows, video game reviews, and we are back. It has been a while since we've been gone. Since we've been gone, it's been a while, and we have watched a ton of things since your boy has been down and out. I'm trying to get better, trying to be better. I am still in a ton of friggin' pain, but I'm here to bring you Christmas cheer. It's not Christmas. I'm just kidding. Anyway, I have a TV series that you may not have watched, you may not know existed, but I'm your boy. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to let you know the things that are going on that you might not know that might be good, and some of them are bad. My viewpoint, as always, is not paid for, so you will get it straight from me. If it's crap, I'm going to let you know. If it's great, I'm going to tell you to try it. If it's something that may not resonate with everybody, I'm going to let you know that too. So I'm talking about a TV series called Earth Abides. Earth Abides is a rather new TV show that I had a chance to watch all the episodes of. The story in the present premise is pretty simple. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you guys the trailer of what it is, and then I'll come back and I'll unpack it for you and let you know exactly what you saw in that trailer. How does that sound? Good? All right. So sit tight, sit back and relax with your favorite bag of snacks. Check out this trailer, and then I'm going to come back and unpack it for you. How about that?
Viral outbreak has occurred. It is highly contagious and lethal.
The emergency alert system. This is not a test.
No. No, no! Mom? Dad?
Everyone's dead, hon.
There's no one left. Did you sleep through the Monday, kid? Whoever might be left is out of time.
What do you want?
I haven't seen anyone in the longest time.
Everyone disappear but me. Now you.
If we stick together, there's enough to keep us alive for years.
I was sure I was gonna die alone.
How can we protect the child?
I need you to believe in us.
Maybe civilization could rise again. If you build it, they all come. We can't just leave our doors wide open.
You can't close us off to other people.
There are two kinds of people: the weak and the strong. We have to be prepared.
Doesn't take much to kill from far away. Challenge is to do it up close.
Banish brought a family to a knife fight. They have been the underdog, fit only to endure punishment. But sufficiently provoked, there is hardly a creature on earth that won't turn and attempt to fight, regardless of the odds. Hope. That's how we'll win in the end.
All right. That was a rather long trailer, but it's a rather long series that encompasses about 25 to 30 years of the lives of the last people left on Earth. basically the premise of this is it's The Walking Dead without zombies. I think that's the best accurate way to purvey what the series is. It's The Walking Dead without zombies. So basically what happens is a virus runs through the population. Pretty crazy, right? We just literally went through something like that and are still going through something like that despite people not wanting to talk about it. We all have PTSD. We all went through a hell of a last 5 years. And nobody who is still here living and breathing has not been touched by the problem of the pandemic. But in this one, they pretty much lost almost everybody on the planet. This guy, the main character, he's bitten by a snake. There are percentages of living when being bitten by a poisonous snake. He goes back to his cabin while he's away in the woods, and he basically just lays in his bed. He drinks water because he has water rations and things like that. And in between passing out and waking up, he just drinks and he tries to get himself back. He dropped his cell phone, when, as you saw in the trailer, when he's bitten by a snake, so he wasn't able to call anybody. Now, while he's asleep, you get some flashes of things happening, including people coming by the cabin and looking and writing him off as dead because of basically how it looks, how it smells, and how everything seems. But when he finally gets over the snake bite, the swelling goes down and he's able to move around again, he comes outside. Now, to him, he believes it's only been a matter of maybe a few days. Unfortunately, it's been way longer than that. And you can tell by just the scene when he comes out. This is the first scene when he comes out and his car has leaves and age on it. Now, the crazy part is they kind of explain how long it's been, but the story jumps off very quickly because when he makes it back to town, he realizes there's nobody left and something has happened. So, like most of us, his first priority is, I got to get to my family and see if they're okay. Unfortunately, his family are all gone. And that's where the drama begins to unload on the psyche of a person just left with nobody else. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, I would absolutely enjoy everybody gone and it's just me. But there is a facet to that you're not thinking about. Human beings are sociable creatures. Most of us went through breakdowns, cabin fever, and things like that during the pandemic because we weren't allowed to be sociable. We weren't allowed to be with friends. We weren't allowed to be around people. It changed the structure of society. Now picture, instead of people just being sick, if you got it, you died. That's the severity of what happens in Earth Abides. So as he buries his parents, who he finds in a bed, and they hope he passed on and he's gone, he basically drives in every direction for thousands and thousands and thousands of miles because he can't believe that nobody else is there and that nobody else is here. He has basically a ton of questions with zero answers. I'm not going to give you a play-by-play, but I will give you like a overall of the series. Spoiler warnings. If you don't want spoilers, turn away. 3, 2, 1. You've been warned. We have spoilers. So one of the directions he drives to, he ends up in Vegas, and he walks around the casinos and hotels and everything, and he just basically just lets everything go because he realizes that for all intents and purposes, he's the last person left. And somehow he was spared. He walks into the hotel, he takes a drink, and while he's walking around naked from the pool, because you can go anywhere and do anything, he finds a couple, an older woman and an older gentleman, who basically explain to him what happened to the world. And he's a little bit taken back, but he's happy to see people because his soul is like, well, if there are people here, then maybe there are more, and everything is great. There are goods and bads with this series, pros and cons. We'll weigh them both, and in the end, I'll give you my rating of the series. So the people he met had already decided, since they lost everybody, they didn't have anything, they were just gonna, cacao themselves and move on. What did your boy call it from The Walking Dead? Jenner, the doctor. They opted out. They opted out. And him showing up was no change to their plans. Actually, she wanted to sleep with him one more time, to sleep with somebody before she opted out, and he opted not to. Not a choice I would have made, because if you haven't seen nobody and you're the last person left, I mean, a good time is a good time, but it also seems weird that you just met somebody, but it happens now. You just meet somebody, you guys have a great time, you end up sleeping with each other. It happens. But that's not what happens with him. And as he's downstairs trying to thumb things over and think about things from the people, they opt out. So he doesn't get that chance. So now he's even crazier because the only two people he's found in a very long time, and they do time jumps in this series a lot, months to years to, they do a lot of time jumps. So finding out where you are in time sometimes in the linear progression of the show is hard, but they do a good job of every once in a while writing on the screen, this is how many years later, this is how many years later. They don't do months, they do years by jump because he's by himself. Riding back from Vegas to his home again, he comes across a dog in the road that's just waiting. So like him, he has now a companion, and the dog, he's like, well, if I'm the only one left and you're the only one left, maybe we can be the only one left together. And he walks over to the car, and the dog is, I guess, so glad to see him. If you are a dog owner or a puppy lover, you know how heart melting they can be. And you're heart melted by this dog that shows up when all else has failed this man. And this dog is his best friend. Now, I say that because they're in the future, the foreseeable years of the future, his bond with this dog grows insurmountably. And me, as a movie and TV show patron, we've watched enough movies and TV shows to realize the dog at some point will pass on. And that's heartbreaking for me because from the moment he fell in love with the dog, I was like, I got I Am Legend vibes. And I'm like, this dog is going to either die of disease, die protecting him. Something's going to happen to this dog. Because I was like, there's so much joy and happiness at the way their relationship is. I was like, it's like an I Am Legend parallel. I was like, something has to happen to the dog. And unfortunately, it does. Later on, way later on. But they also explore things that you haven't seen in an apocalyptic world. Things that would happen, but you don't see in almost any form of apocalyptic television shows or movies. And I did like that. I will give them that. That's a positive. They showed things that you rarely see in situations like this. Like, for instance, there is no power. He knows nothing about power. So he goes to the library and reads books to teach himself, to learn about the things so that he can do things to survive. He gets to a point where just looking for people becomes exhausting and he gives up. You're talking about years and years and years of him looking for people. So I do understand there's a mental aspect of this that they were trying to purvey, and it came across very clear. He meets up with a woman who he finds smoke on a house, and he hasn't seen smoke in years. It's ironic, and also, you know, it's the script, that the smoke would be near where his house is, so he can see it. Of all the entire world where this woman could be, she's near him. And I know it's cliched, but I was okay with it. He meets her, they talk to each other, they realize they both have a lot in common. She has a story, but it's not revealed then, and they decide whatever is going on in this world, maybe we can go through it together, which is amazing because the first people he came across didn't have that aspect on their mind, but this woman does. She's more down to earth. She's more an earthly, emotional type person, and it's basically where he lacks, that's where she comes into play. So they kind of fit each other really well, and naturally they fall in love, and she gets pregnant. Not the best outcome because, you know, there's no doctors, there's hospitals and there's equipment, but they don't know anything. So he has to keep going back to this library and reading up on things that he doesn't know to teach himself. And I do like that. The Walking Dead never covered that. A lot of apocalyptic movies never cover that. Like, I like him going to a library, fixing it up, and teaching himself skills so that he can survive. It's a natural surviving progression. And as these two grow together, they have more children, they develop certain things, they become really good. But one of the first nights that they're with each other, they're invaded by thousands and thousands of colonizing rats, because rats will move wherever they can find food, and then once the food is gone, they'll move to another area. And you don't really think about it much in our today's society, but places like New York and city areas where the rat population is a big problem, there are things put in place and people and things that keep them at a minimum geography wise. But without that control, they would just breed, explode, and just take everything down. So if you were in this environment, a place like New York or a big city or something like that may not necessarily be the best thing, because you have now millions and millions of rats that you're competing with for food, supplies, and sustenance. They bring disease, they destroy things that you would need to survive. So now there's an ebb and flow that you have to learn to live with. So he devises ways to try to kill the rats. The dog gets attacked by rats. There's just a lot that happens, because now you're starting to get the natural element that's overtaking this world. And that is where inherently the problem should have stayed, because with nothing else in the world to check him, the natural elements, mountain lions, cougars, rats, disease and famine from mosquitoes, things like that, things rotten, power stations going into nuclear meltdown. There's a lot of natural problems that literally give them a huge amount to deal with. But as in television, they always seem to want to add more drama, more drama, more drama, and more drama. There's already enough with the natural elements having to fight to stay alive, because now you have to worry about your kids being attacked by wild animals who now have taken the land back everywhere. And that is a great premise altogether. But for some reason, everybody seems to invoke the human element. So they come across assholes, because in every apocalyptic TV show, movie, or novel, there has to be assholes. And assholes survive for some reason. I don't know why evil people survive. They just do. So they thrive in a world like this. We've seen it 1,000 different times. And they have to deal with that element. That element, they go to such an extent in here. How do I say this without being too blunt? There still is an element of people taking things by force from people in a very negative way. So much to the point where if there's nobody left in the world, certain crimes don't happen anymore. But it's nice to know horribly that with some people left in the world, they still project these type of crimes, invading people's bodies. Read between the lines. I'm not going to say it, or read between the lines. But there are people taking advantage of other people, and basically it's not a great situation. And when they got there, even to that point, I was still on board with the show, but it's a ruthlessness, because the animals become back to their raw nature, but human beings should also be at their raw nature. And this is where you have this fight. The woman he's with wants to be civil. She wants to give everybody a chance. She wants to remain that human aspect of what the world used to be. While our main character, he is more resorted back to a rough, rugged nature of an animal, because he survived so long on his own. And for society to literally keep going, you need both of them. You need his raw animal instincts, but you also need her calm, civil, even flow, because you'll never find anybody else and let them into your community if you have just raw nature. But on the same token, if you just have raw nature, then you can sniff out things that will take down your community. So it's both needed. And I like the duality that they did in the show for that. Having said that, there were so many times I said she was completely wrong. He was completely right. And because he listened to her, it was a detriment. And I'm just going to say it. It's going to sound bad, but he got fucked up by a mountain lion or a tiger. I don't know which one it was, but because he followed her rules and let down his guard, the kids was going to be killed by this tiger, lion / mountain cougar thing. And he ended up taking the brunt of it. And I was like, oh, they killed him off. Wow, he's the main character and killed him off. Somehow he survived it, but I don't know how, but he survived it. And the series goes forward, and they find more people, and they leave messages so that more people can find them. And they end up with this community of people. And the community of people is diverse, as we all know when it comes to TV shows. You got to have everybody of all race, everybody of all ethnicity, everybody of all sexual inclusion. So you have a brood of everything represented in the world in this community. And this community is both attacked and helped by other groups of people. And that's basically the series. And every once in a while, and it really killed me because they kept doing jump from like 5 years to 20 years. Like there's just so many time jumps in this thing. And I was just like, I don't think they're going to do a season 2, because the way you're time jumping in this thing, the linear progression means your main characters are going to be gone. Their children are going to take over. And what's the point of watching the series from just the kids' point of view who are now adults? But that's where the series goes. And by the end of the series, you get a full meal and a full sight. And I kind of like that even better, because I'm so sick of series going beyond their nature. A lot of TV series, people's like, I never want them to end. You have to have a natural end for some of these TV series. Otherwise, you end up with what happened with The Walking Dead. The shit went too far. It went too far. It went on too long. People dropped off from it because it just literally became nothing. So you have to understand, I know it's your favorite show. I know you love it. I know you love what's going on and the people and the characters in their lives. But a show has to have an ending. It has to have a cusp. It has to have an end result. It has to get to a point where you're going. The Walking Dead was like, we're going to do more of this, more bad guys, more Negans, more worlds, more cannibals, more this. It just added more and more on to the point where people were just like, it's the Fast and the Furious now. You guys are in a Fiero in space with Ludacris. Like, this shit, it's not real anymore. And that's what happened to The Walking Dead. I love The Walking Dead. I read the graphic novels, but I hated literally where this series went. And I was just like, at a certain point, you guys could have ended on a high note and just done a spinoff. But you still did. You kept the series going, and then you did a spinoff of a spinoff of a spinoff of a spinoff, and then a spinoff. And then you announced, hey, The Walking Dead is ending. And I'm like, there's no way you're going to let this cash cow go after where you're at now. And of course, after that, they're just like, so The Walking Dead ended, guys. But there's 3 new spinoffs. You got Dead City, you got the Daryl series, you got the Negan and Maggie series, and I'm like, so the shit never ends. It never ends. You have to understand what made the show popular and what you're taking away from the show by extending the lethality of these people's lives. Give them an ending. Give them a deserved ending. The Rick and Michonne series was way overdue. I did like it, but on the same token, it also didn't make sense. Both of you guys decided to leave your children behind for what? They grew up in a world full of zombies and horrible people that eat people like burger meat. And you're going to leave these people alone to live in a world, in a society like that. Now, because the story was like, yeah, they're not going to die. Of course, they didn't die. But you also, I'm not getting into that. That's a different video. I'm not going to go to The Walking Dead. Earth abides. I got to keep my focus. Sorry, times I veer off. I got to keep my focus. Anyway, as this series comes to a close and the final episodes, they wrap up a ton of things that were exposited to during the series. I'm glad they sewed those lines up and gave it an ending. but we end up losing our main two characters because it's been like 30 or 40 years in this new apocalyptic world. There's some pain over the virus coming back in and taking over some of their camp, which would happen when you have a community of people. They lose children. Like everything is the normal progression of what would really happen in a world like this. And for that, I respect them because there's a lot of realism. There's also a lot of surrealism and unrealism in the series, but it's enough for you to deal with, to get through the story. Having said that, I would have loved a more payoff for the ending result of this TV series, but there is no payoff. It's just more of the same. I hate to quote Supernatural. This is what you wanted, Sammy. No good, no bad, just more of the same. A happy, normal apple pie life. And that's how we end this TV series, Earth Abides. It's a great watch if you're looking to binge watch something new. If you're into apocalyptic series, you definitely have to venture out here to watch this. It has its moments of lag and talk, like I always say, people talking about in this peach tea when there's more real shit going on around. Yes, it does have that. But on the same token, it has enough to keep you involved throughout the series. And you get involved in the lives of these people. Having said that, also, there are a lot of stupid decisions that lead to bad results, end results. And I'm glad they showed you that for that set of consequences because you chose badly. I'm glad there were consequences because in a lot of TV shows, they don't do that. They just let people do these dumb things, these stupid things, and then they just let them go. So I'm glad there was a check and a balance to the stupidity of the things and decisions people made in the show. Having said that, I am going to liken him to Rick Grimes in an apocalypse without the zombies, because he is more like Rick Grimes as a character than anybody else I've ever seen in a apocalyptic TV series. Even to the point where one of the group that they brought in essays one of his people, one of the girls, one of the younger girls. And they're like, you know, what are you going to do about it? Like, we'll kill you and take over your whole entire place. Like, we're just these type of people. That's what we do. We've been surviving and we a-holes. And I was like, I know where this is going. We're going to end up with the Walking Dead whispers and Negan stuff. Like, it was making me angry. But, like as I said, the refreshing thought of whoever created this series was like, there's consequences and reactions and repercussions to dumb decisions. And I will tell you, like I said, this is spoilers, so I'm gonna go there. This is my channel. This is spoilers. I'm gonna go there. He catches up with the guy who did it. They know who did it. He knows did it. And he's basically like, yeah, I did it. So what? I'll kill you and your people. I'll shoot you in the head and take your farm. I'll do anything I want. Ain't nothing you gonna do about it. What you gonna do about it? You gonna kill me? You gonna kill me? That's exactly what happens in a very violent way. Like, I don't mean like he got beat up and it was a one-sided fight. I mean, his whole crew, the people who've been surviving since the beginning that we're introduced to as nice, normal people, they wolf pack into raw nature, and my man is Negan till he ain't here no more. And I'm like, didn't see that coming. I'm happy. I did not see that coming. I did not expect that. And they went there, and I'm just like, okay, I give them huge points for that. And then the other people that was with that group, they're just like, this is what I mean when I say sometimes there are just dumb things that people do. They were just like, yeah, so you can't stay here. Y'all gotta go. Your boy was out of pocket. We took care of him. But you guys didn't do nothing, so we don't trust you. You was hanging with him, you like him, we don't want you around. And I'm like, that's a mistake, because these people gonna come back and come after you, and that's what happens normally all the time. And you would expect that to happen when they let them go, but I'm not gonna spoil that part for you. But I will say, it doesn't go the way that I expected it to go from normal television shows. It pleasantly went another way. And I was like, Okay. 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 I'm on board with that. I'm on board with that. So their community just keeps growing and building things until they finally have communications, and they try to just basically send out lines of communications around the world to try to find anybody, if they're alive, any other community. And they end up doing and finding a community and making a pilgrimage to this community, which is basically a huge civilization left of people who have done the same things and gone through the same things. And it's a sad ending, and I didn't want a season 2. And I'm glad they didn't do something where they're like, oh, well, here we're going to go into season 2, cliffhangers, there's another group of bad people. I'm glad it had an ending. And that's what I mean when I say full meal. Some shows need a full meal, but it needs an ending. You can't make it go and go and go and go until people puke coat hangers, because sooner or later you're going to run out of ideas. And that's when a show becomes bad. That's when it becomes spoiled meat, and people can taste the spoiledness in your flavor. But some people don't know how to let things in. There should not be 29,000 seasons of certain TV shows. Now, I'm going to say Law & Order is different because every episode can be a different case. So you can do things, real life things, that you can't do. But like Grey's Anatomy, you shouldn't be on like season 55. Like there should not be a season 55. NCIS, there shouldn't be like a season 91. I'm sorry. But certain shows, they just give you a full meal. And Earth Abides does do that. So, as a whole meal, I am going to judge the series. Earth Abides as a whole series, I'm definitely going to give it a gold rating. Can't give it a platinum. I would love to give it a platinum. I would. But as I said, when I watch things and I read things, I have a meaning inside me for realistic reactions, realistic responses, and realistic situations. Unfortunately, this show had too much of the world in it, and a lot of unrealistic things kept happening, enough to the point that it frustrated me. It did frustrate me on a few times, so I cannot give it a platinum. Having said that, the series as a whole is definitely a gold. I would say watch it. I would say binge it because all episodes are out. I would say give it a chance. And if you're looking for that next apocalyptic series to dive into Earth Abides. It's by all means, you won't be let down, but by the same token, you will enjoy your ride. And it's a full ride through the lives of the last family of people surviving in a world that is now gone. That's the best way I can put it. And yeah, I'm going to say you guys need to check out Earth Abides. It'll take you there for some stupid decisions and things like that. But on the same token, for every stupid and dumb and unrealistic decision, they give you a set of consequences that come as a result of it that just, it counterbalances it. And you're like, okay, I'm going to keep watching. I'm going to keep watching. And it's enough of that to overpower the dumb responses, the dumb actions, the dumb reactions. It's enough to just cover all of that to the point where it's enough of it to watch a good show and have a great experience. I like that. I really like that. There's no super villains. There's no super deluxe mega zombies. No evil corporation in a lab, designing zombies to go out and murder people. It's none of that. It's at its heart, it's nature versus nurture in a world that has now been taken back by both. Who can survive? If they called it Earth Survives, I would still be okay with it. But I like Earth Abides because it's if you define the meaning in the word, you get exactly what we watched. And I will tell you, the episodes are nice. They're lengthy. The episode list is nice and mid. It's not going to be a 23 episode count like we used to get back in the day, but I do like the meal that they shared with us. This is television as best as it can possibly be in our modern society, and we need more of it. This is the reason why I say projects like this, I will recommend to people. Because the host of crap that we have on TV and in movies now, it's insufferable. It literally is. You can call out the ending when the movie starts. You can call out the next scene before it even happens, because everything is literally just repetitions of themselves. Enough of the remakes, enough of the remasters, enough of the reimaginings. Be new, be inventive, use your imagination. That's that thing we had back in the day. Use your heads. That's that lump 3 feet above your ass. That's from League of Their Own. Tom Hanks, Jimmy Dugan. Really? Nothing? All right, never mind. You gotta watch that movie too. League of Their Own, great movie. Great movie. Gina Davis. It's an all-star cast. You gotta watch it. It's a movie that makes you cry. I don't judge that by great movies, because I say if it invokes an emotion in you, it's definitely a good thing. And this thing invokes a lot of emotions, and it makes you think in a situation where you normally wouldn't think of doing that. Not too many people would think of going to the library and learning things in an apocalypse to learn how to do things to help your life survive, because everybody else is just in survival mode. But I do like that this series goes in ways that normal TV series don't go. And because of that, it's definitely a gold. So from the Game Dojo, it's your boy the Game Ninja, for 24K movies, TV shows, and video game reviews. Excuse me, I can't even talk. This was Earth Abides, a great series by MGM Plus. Absolutely wonderful. I would say probably as best as TV can get right now in our current world. Watch Earth Abides. It won't let you down. It streams on MGM Plus, but I don't know if there's any other network you can get it on. I would say look into it. I'm pretty sure maybe you can get the DVD, why DVDs still exist, of the series. It's been out long enough for them to have a DVD box set, I guess, of the episodes, or digital download. I would say look into it. It's worth adding to your apocalyptic collection, and I love apocalyptic series. So this is somebody who literally loves an apocalyptic series. I even wrote a book on it. This is worth your time. Until next time, I'll see you from 24K. It's your boy, next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. We want to blow this channel up too.